It quickly became clear that Greg was not unfamiliar to the local law enforcement authorities here. They were aware of his YouTube antics, the allegations of inappropriate contact with young women.
Wow, you guys really would do that to me. You would really do that to me. You would literally cause me to lose my YouTube partnership. Wow!
A lot of you may know him from his annoying video that has like 95 million views.
Banana, I'm a banana.
Onision, also known as Gregory James Jackson, rose to fame in the late 2000s and early 2010s. His videos varied from comedic skits, vlogs, parody songs, and commentary on things like relationships and mental health. He started his YouTube channel in 2006, but it wouldn't be till his Banana song released in 2009 that he began to gain more and more attention. He attracted a young fan base that generally consisted of teenagers and young adults who enjoyed his edgy style content. Most of his fans were females around the age of 11 to 16. At his peak, he reached over 7 million subscribers over 7 channels. But Onision's career would be riddled with controversies, with inappropriate relationships with underage fans, as well as instances of emotional abuse. At VidCon 2012, he was banned from the event when a video emerged of him stating his then girlfriend Adrienne slept with more than 20 people before she was with him, so she is a slut and therefore cannot be raped. Now, as insane as that comment is, that was only the start of his vile and disgusting behaviour. In 2012, Jackson began messaging a fan by the name of Kay Anderson, who was 17 at that time, while he was 26. Despite that, they would actually go on to get married in the same year when she was 18. Kai would be a big part of the channel and often appeared in many skit videos. Now, Kai would eventually come out as bisexual and as a transgender man. An important thing to note here is that my research has told me that many people believe that Kai's change to Lucas was because of Gregory, that he forced Kai to change her name and dress less feminine. Now, it's unclear whether or not that's actually true. I couldn't really find any evidence to say one way or the other, but according to the Onision subreddit, a lot of the people on that seem to think that she was coerced into becoming Lucas. Now, Onision has been accused of grooming underage fans, specifically engaging in inappropriate relationships with young women who were often just coming of age. In 2020, Gregory and his spouse Kai faced a civil lawsuit filed by one of the alleged victims, Sarah, who accused the couple of grooming and sexual exploitation. Sarah's case, along with other victim stories, have been highlighted during the Chris Hansen investigation into Onision's alleged predatory behaviour, and if Chris Hansen is investigating you, chances are you're a bit of a fucking predator. Sarah began living with Gregory and Kai as a minor and claimed she was groomed by the couple. She moved in at a time because she needed help and support, but she would later be coerced into a sexual relationship once she turned 18 years old. Because she was a fan of Onision, it would have been easy for them to manipulate her to do what they wanted. Although the sexual relationship didn't start till she was 18, she claimed she was still groomed as a minor. The lawsuit also claimed that they purposely waited for her to turn 18 before starting sexual relationships, and Sarah's claims indicated that although the relationship became sexual after she was 18, the grooming and coercion made the encounters non-consensual in nature. The lawsuit also likely included claims of emotional distress, arguing that the manipulation and abuse by Onision and Kai caused long-lasting emotional and psychological damage. Now, Chris Hansen's public investigation into Onision was a key factor in elevating Sarah's accusations into legal action. His involvement helped to corroborate the claims through multiple testimonies and evidence shared by the victims. Now, of course, Gregory and Kai denied any wrongdoing, and he frequently posted videos denying all the accusations against him and his partner. The case was unfortunately dismissed by the court due to lack of proper jurisdiction, but with the pressure building, YouTube would eventually demonetize his channel, and in November 2019, Patreon would ban him after he posted the phone number of Billy Dawn Webb, who was a fellow YouTuber and was another woman who claimed Jackson and his spouse Kai had groomed and manipulated them into a sexual relationship or otherwise engaged in harassment. Onision's reputation was totally ruined, and he was seen as both a predator and a groomer. Now, just last year, Onision was sued in another civil suit that claimed he recruited, solicited, and groomed underage children into having sex with him, according to the lawsuit. Gregory again consistently denied any claims of abuse and grooming. And according to the plaintiff, Regina Alonso, Jackson and his spouse used the channel's popularity to groom Alonso from the age of 14 to 17, encouraging Alonso to send flirty messages and naked photos. The three began dating according to the lawsuit with the intent to solicit sex from Alonso during a suggested visit to the Jackson home in Washington state. Alonso claimed the relationship caused her serious physical and psychological harm. The lawsuit also stated that defendant James Jackson, aka Onision, is a predator who, faced with the allegations raised against him, began a series of attacks against the victims online in an effort to intimidate and threaten his victims into silence. And also, Onision used his fame and platform to objectify children, to form relationships with underage girls, to entice them, groom them, and to encourage transportation across state lines and facilitate further grooming and sexual activity. Now, obviously, this is absolutely foul and disgusting behaviour from both Onision and his partner. YouTube was actually also named as a defendant in the lawsuit. The lawsuit alleged that by continuing to monetize Jackson's channels, even after several journalists and users notified them of the allegations, YouTube profit shared with the Onision channel anyway. While the detailed outcome of this lawsuit kind of remains unclear, it was a significant part of the efforts to expose Onision's alleged misconduct and contributed to the ongoing scrutiny he was facing in the wake of multiple accusations. Now, there are only two examples in terms of a civil lawsuit, and as I mentioned, there was other examples of people coming forward and stating that they were groomed or enticed into some sort of sexual relationship by either Onision or Onision and his partner. And a lot of times it seems to be both of them involved in this disgusting behaviour. Now, outside of the disgusting allegations that have been made against Onision, he's also done some other fucked up things. He was also accused of abusive behaviour in his own personal romantic relationships. One example of this was, in particular, was a Canadian singer by the name of Sheila Hongerson, whose relationship was fraught with allegations of emotional abuse and manipulation. Onision shared disturbing and deeply personal moments of their relationship on his channel, included footage of his then girlfriend having a mental breakdown. Onision became notorious for posting videos where he would engage in really bizarre or very emotionally charged rants, and one particular incident is when he filmed himself screaming and throwing a tantrum in response to losing custody of his children and the ongoing investigations into his predatory behaviour. This video was widely seen, thankfully, by most people as clearly manipulative and obviously narcissistic, and many saw it as an attempt as a way for him to gain sympathy while avoiding any sort of accountability, which is a classic tactic by these predators on YouTube. He also had issues with the Child Protective Services, who reportedly were involved in investigating Onision and Kai after concerns were raised about their children's well-being. Reports surfaced that the CBS had visited their home multiple times from various incidents, but the details of their findings aren't publicly known. It's not really clear whether or not CBS took any formal action regarding the parental rights or whether the investigation just led to some temporary custody issues. However, rumours circulated that, Onision temporarily lost custody of the children, although these reports have never really been confirmed by any authority, and I couldn't find any evidence of it either. Now, despite all these allegations of abuse, grooming, harassment, threatening behaviour by Onision, he still seems to have 2 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, which is a little bit worrying, and it's unclear whether or not it's monetized or not. I still think his channel should be completely removed if he has been in any sort of way predatory or grooming of children. I mean, I think that's a pretty straightforward thing that we could all agree on as a species. Another thing to mention about him that's also horrible to me is the fact that he's a vegan. Sorry, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. It's quite a dark subject. No offense to vegans, there's nothing wrong with being a vegan. Another thing about his content was he was very kind of a staunch vegan, and he very much saw himself as the representative of that community, and he would chastise and belittle anyone that ate meat, and their videos were quite emotionally charged but very aggressive in nature and very dramatic.
This is my vegetarian body!
And I'd say at this point the vegans kind of want to keep their distance from him. In the last couple of days of recording this video, he's released a couple of videos on his channel for the first time in a long time, but they're not gathering the views that he used to get. So thankfully, people aren't tuning into his bullshit anymore. He's also turned off all the comments on all his videos, which I'd imagine is because he's getting a lot of abuse from his subscribers and other people who just want to let him know he's a bit of a scumbag. He deserves that. I mean, like I said, he doesn't deserve a platform, so you can understand why he turned off the comments if all he's getting is hate. But I mean, if you're a child predator, you deserve to get the hate. Now, of course, he has never been legally found guilty of any sort of crime of these things, so we can never say legally that he is 100%. But the fact that there's been multiple accusations from many people that Chris Hansen, of all people, who is known as the Catch the Predator guy, even investigated him, goes to show that, like, it'd be very, very difficult for me to believe that he isn't one. That being the case, I think he's a vile and disgusting human being, and I don't think he's someone that, like I've said many times already, deserves a platform. And this is just another example of a YouTuber who abused his power, abused the trust of his young fan base, and appears to have attempted, or at least been somewhat successful in grooming and manipulating them, both emotionally and mentally, as well as physically. And I don't think I need to express how disgusting this behavior is, how disgusting he is and his partner is. And there actually is a lot more examples of his behavior that I didn't include in this video because I didn't want the video to be too long. And also personally, it's just hard to read and watch some of the stuff that he's been accused of. The last few videos I've done about YouTubers, every single time I do one, I think there can't be anyone worse than who I've researched before, and then I keep finding people that are worse, or at least on the same level, just like Austin Jones, just like Sam Pepper. Everywhere I look, there seems to be more and more examples of people like this, unfortunately, on the platform. But lastly, I just want to say, fuck you, Onision, and your abuse of power to the people who looked up to you, and to, completely destroy that trust and to attempt to control children and get some sort of sexual gratification out of them is vile and disgusting. And I hope that YouTube does the right thing eventually and just removes your channel forever, because you don't deserve it. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe as always if you enjoyed the video. This is my third YouTuber Predator video, and people seem to be enjoying them, so I'll probably do a couple more maybe. I mean, they're quite intense and they're hard to research, but I think it's important to share these stories to make people aware of these YouTube content creators, that there's people out there that will abuse their power and will continue to manipulate children if they have the young fans to get what they want out of it. And so it's just something that we all need to be aware of, and I don't think it's something that we can let be forgotten. And I'm sure Onision himself is releasing videos this week hoping that everything is just blown over and that he can just go back to being what he was, which it's just not how it works. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any YouTuber or famous person or any example of someone that you want me to do a video on that has had a big fall from grace. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.